Hi, my name is Alana. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and on this channel, we review books. Today's video, I'm going to do another installment to my mini review series. So this is, I believe, number 3, where I'm just going to briefly go over a couple of books that I read that were quick reads that don't really require long, drawn-out analysis. They were just books that I read because I wanted something that was quick and fun. So the first book is Dragonwyck by Anya Seton. And this book, it was a wild ride. He would hurt her himself, take pleasure in doing so, but he would not allow her to be injured by anyone or anything else. So in Dragonwyck by Anya Seton, it takes place in 1844 in New England, specifically mainly in New York State. And the main character, Miranda, grew up on a farm in a different part of New England. However, she's not necessarily wealthy. Her family, she's used to farm life. She is one of a few children, actually. And her parents, she doesn't live this elaborate, elegant lifestyle. She's from the working farm life. That farming class. However, she has always had more elegant taste and dreams and of a luxurious lifestyle than her parents and her siblings. They don't care, but she has aspirations for a more elegant lifestyle. A very distant relation of Miranda's mother whose name is Nicholas Van Ryn, sends them a letter requesting for one of their daughters to be sent to New York on his wealthy estate to serve as a governess to his daughter. Miranda is the one that is selected to go to New York as the governess, and she is immediately swept away by Nicholas's charm and this lifestyle of the wealth that he has. You know, he lives in a beautiful manor and he's very elegant. He's also good looking, of course. And so this is the first time that she's now able to live in an extravagant life, even though she's just the governess. She falls in love with Nicholas, this distant, very distant relation. However, she is blinded by his true nature, and so then, therefore, this twisted gothic tale ensues. It's dark. There are ghosts, there is a murder, and there are some secrets that unfold. So Dragonwyck is one of those really dramatic, fun, and historical fiction novels that feels vintage. And it is. This was published in the 1970s, so you can tell that it was published in the 1970s. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying you can tell that this is historical fiction from a different decade. Seton has such a way... Seton is a very engaging writer. This is not my first novel by her. My first one was Catherine. And in particular, Dragonwyck is atmospheric and detailed. She provides multiple points of view. It's narrated in the third person, but I would say third person omniscient, because we do get insights from other characters. So we have multiple points of view in a way but it's seamlessly written. And Seton doesn't just focus on Miranda and Nicholas. Seton also brings to light the woes of the working class at this time. And I found that this added a lot more depth to the narrative. This is 1844. The American Civil War has not happened yet. It's less than 20 years away, however. So yes, slavery is occurring in the South, but Seton is actually arguing that the working class, who are working essentially as serfs to Nicholas's class, the landowners, is also not good. It's an evil that's also occurring in the North, a social evil. And so you also do have a period of time in the United States, which you don't really talk about too much, where the lower classes are actually uprising and trying to have these revolutions against these massive landowners. So also, the United States is currently at war with Mexico in the Southwest. So she seamlessly pulls in what is happening historically at this time. And it's done in a way that is not convoluted contrived, or confusing. There is a little bit of Jane Eyre in this story. You could probably kind of guess that with this premise of Miranda going to be a governess. And so there's also a ghost at this estate, and there is a red room, which there's a red room in Jane Eyre, and especially in the beginning of the novel of Jane Eyre. But from there, Seton turns this into something her own. Miranda is a character that can be frustrating at times. She is willfully ignorant, willfully ignorant. But in a way, when this novel starts out, she's very young. She's 18 years old. So she is naive in a lot of ways. She's mainly willfully ignorant when it comes to Nicholas, because she's just so enamored by all the glitz and the glamour that she allows her judgment to be skewed. And she even allows herself to become a little bit of a snob in some cases. However, Miranda does mature, and the young lady that she ultimately becomes is worth the journey. There's even a little bit of a love triangle in here. So there is another young man that takes interest in Miranda, and so you get his story as well. I really enjoyed this book. I read it because it was one of those I always like to have one rotation novel that I read just for fun, and this was one of those books. It's an easy and fun read, but it's not vapid. It's very well written. It's very well constructed. I rated it a 4 out of 5. And if you are like me, who cannot say no to a Jane Eyre-esque inspired tale, you will enjoy this one. On to the next one. The Commandant's Girl by Pam Jenoff. I also recently reviewed another one by Pam Jenoff called The Diplomat's Wife. There's always a choice, Emma. We have to take responsibility for our actions. It is the only way we can avoid becoming victims and keep our dignity. So in The Commandant's Girl, we have a tale that is narrated by Emma. Emma is a young Jewish woman living in Poland during World War II. Emma is a newlywed, as in she has been married for all of 3 weeks before her life gets turned upside down. Her husband, Jacob, is a part of the resistance. So he's in a group of resistors against the Nazi regime. And as the Jewish situation in Poland becomes more dire, her husband leaves her to fight in this resistance, or to serve on behalf of the resistance and go undercover. And I don't mean leave her as in he left. He didn't leave her for another woman. He's fighting for the cause. And he does this also to keep her safe. But Emma does also get involved in the resistance. And she takes on the identity of a woman named Anna. So she is now under the guise of a Catholic woman. And with this new identity, she's able to be employed under the Nazi regime, and she reports directly to Commandant Rischwalder, a high-ranking Nazi official. In an effort to gain intel from him, she gained his confidence, gained his trust, and so in the hopes of getting information that will then serve the resistance. However, there's always a however, because if we have a man and a woman, what finna happen? They finna catch feelings. Okay, so yes, there is an undeniable chemistry between the Commandant and Anna. And so a romantic affair ensues, thus entangling Emma in a web of lies and guilt, especially as the war intensifies and more Jews are being removed from the ghettos to the death camps. So yes, you can already tell that this book is all the drama. It is just one of those plots where you read it, it's mainly a plot-driven novel rather than a character-focused novel. It is fast-paced and cinematic, which is the same thing that I said about The Diplomat's Wife by Pam Jenoff, which is actually related to this novel. It just takes a minor female character in this novel, and we get her tale post all of this resistance drama. And again, I read this book because I always like to have on rotation a book that is a quick easy, fun read. I typically like to read these at night before going to bed. This is a type of book that has so much drama. The drama keeps the pages turning. Also, it is interesting to dive into Emma's gray morality as a character. She seems to feel that she has no choice. Especially when she is in this relationship with the Commandant. She's always justifying it for the greater good, but it is undeniable. She does fall in love with him. And she's in denial about it. And she does feel guilty about it because she's a married woman, but she keeps telling herself, I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. But did she really? Does Emma really have a choice? And so I think that this is a really good book to read in some cases if you want a buddy read or if you're into a book club, because you could discuss Emma and the choices that she makes for days. So yes, this book did scratch an itch for me. It's an easy read. It was engaging historical fiction, but I have a major critique, and this is the same critique that I gave The Diplomat's Wife: the writing. The writing is basic. Yeah, it is overwritten. And by overwritten, I mean that as Jenoff over explains. So Emma is the main character. I believe this is in her. Yes, it's her narration. So we're getting a first person narration. And so Jenoff writes it so that we have Emma, who will physically do an act. She'll do something. I don't care if she's picking up, for example, I don't know, she picks up a plate and puts it down. And then you have unnecessary narration or dialogue around the act that just occurred. We know the reader, you're writing too much. Let me simplify this way. Jenoff will have a paragraph and she'll say the same thing 3 different ways. And it comes across as elementary, and it's annoying because when you have an author that does that, it says one of 2 things. You don't trust the reader. The author doesn't trust the reader, and you feel like you have to over-explain it for the reader to get it, and you're not trusting the intelligence of your reader. I'm not saying that this is the case. I'm just saying that this is how it can come across, or you need a better editor. So if I was her editor, I would say you actually don't need this sentence and you don't need this sentence because you've already said it. You can actually scratch out this dialogue because you just said it in a narration, or you can scratch out this narration because the dialogue told the reader everything that they need to know. Honestly, if the editor had just reworked that element of the writing, this would have elevated the tone of the novel, and it would have been a more sophisticated sounding read. You see what I'm saying? So it would have given it a slightly more mature, less elementary voice. Again, this was an interesting story. I think it's a great pick for book reads or book clubs. And Emma will give you questions to talk about. As you're reading, you will have things like, is she right? Is she wrong? I love a morally gray character. You have a lot to discuss here if you choose to pick this up. However, I've said this before, as I said with The Diplomat's Wife, Jenoff's writing annoys me. And after having her writing just isn't that great. It's not bad. It's just mediocre at best. I don't think I will be picking up any more of Pam Jenoff's novels because actually this book was given to me. Both of those books were given to me as Christmas gifts. I appreciate them. They were fun reads. They did what they were supposed to do. But as a writer, I don't think I'll be picking up any more of Pam Jenoff's books because I find her writing to be elementary and it gets on my nerves. But I will keep the 2 books that I have. I rated this one a 3 out of 5. So have you read Dragonwyck or The Commandant's Girl? If you have, what were your thoughts? Would you pick either of these books up? And if you've read Pam Jenoff, how do you feel about her writing? Please let me know. Please feel free to disagree. I'm going to wrap this up. Please feel free to like and subscribe and leave me a comment. Also, please feel free to follow me on Instagram where I get up to more bookish shenanigans. All of my book content actually goes live on Instagram first, way before it goes live on, or I'm able to post it on YouTube. So with that being said, I will see you in the next one.